everybody, and welcome back to what I've been starting to call Retro Wednesdays here on the Nostalgia Funhouse YouTube channel. I am Andrew Machine Gun Lens, and my co-host is I can't even Matt the Terminator Johnson, and
Oh,
those guys weren't even Bill's Drought players
I'm.
because I can't even think of anybody. Uh, let's go with Matt Matt Brian Mormon Johnson, and I'm Andrew. Actually, you should be Matt Stevie Johnson, and I'll be Brian Mormon.
I gotta
That's,
admit,
I
I
can't think of
feel
anybody else.
the because I've lost the last 3 weeks. I feel more like Matt Rob Johnson right now. that's
Ooh,
that's what I'm feeling like right now.
Matt
Um,
Rob Johnson.
yeah, I think that's more appropriate than Stevie. Stevie's a little bit more higher regarded here in Buffalo land, but it's good to see you, champ. Viewers, it
Yeah,
is good to see you all. Thank you so much for your support on the channel. Of course, watching these retro fantasy football episodes. I hope they're as fun for you to view as it is for myself and Andrew to do them. I legitimately, I really, really, really look forward to going about this every single week that we do.
yeah, yeah. And this is our Bills drought draft
Yes.
that Matt was like we do, and
I was like, "Hey Andrew, why don't you pick? You could pick something. You won
I
this month." And then I was like, "You know what? Why don't we do this?"
yeah,
But it worked out. It worked
it
out.
is what it is. It is what it is.
You did suggest a team, and I was like, "Hey, this would be a cool one." So I
Yeah.
know I know a couple people personally who are excited to hear this one out. So that's good.
Oh, jeez. And this is a great way to look back on those wonderful, wonderful drought years of the Buffalo Bills when I could just not worry about them making the playoffs and having a deep run or anything like that. They were just done. Just 100% done. Except for that one year when all they had to do was beat the Steelers back up. So,
Yeah, but living here in Buffalo is interesting. Like, and I've certainly come around a lot the last couple years. I used to be pretty antagonistic towards Bills fans, and because it was initialized and my way, but I try to embrace it. And I do appreciate the Bills drought era because I feel like it gave it just continued to build like the Bills like identity as like this. Okay, we're constantly getting punched in the mouth, right? And not to bring up old wounds, but we're
yeah.
coming up. This is the it basically started at the conclusion of the decade where they lost four straight Super Bowls, and the playoff drought was brought in by the Music City Miracle, which is one of the biggest heartbreakers I think of all time. I mean, what a way to get bounced from the playoffs. Not much time left, and you think you're gonna go on, and this is the team that ended up representing the AFC in the Super Bowl that year.
Yeah.
So it's given it this aura, this feeling, this presence, but it's also like it made, at least for myself, I can't speak for Andrew, but when they finally made it to the playoffs again in 2017, it made it that much sweeter. It's like a pro wrestling storyline where you're just wanting to see somebody break through, break through, break through, and then they finally break through, and it was amazing. So like you got to take the good with the bad, but there is a certain charm about the drought era, especially now for Bills fans that it's in the rearview mirror.
I can see that. I think my favorite thing though about the drought is I'm not. This is gonna sound kind of messed up. Is it really showed me who the real Bills fans are? Like I'm not gonna lie. I think there's a lot of fake Bills fans that just use the whole Bills Mafia thing, and it's a party. It's not like I don't know. Maybe I'm a little crazy, but I take my fandom kind of serious.
Right.
Uh, when it comes to all my favorite sports teams, and I think this really showed because I kind of got to laugh. I'm not gonna lie, because I watch a lot of the Bills games, region type thing on Paramount Plus. So I see a lot of the Western New York things, and everything's like, oh, in Western New York, we say "Go Bills" when we see each other. Well, between 2000 and 2016, no one said "Go Bills" to each other just randomly in public. It was, can you believe this? Can you believe that? Can you? Okay, so that's where I'm coming from on this one. Was I'm like, I don't remember anybody saying "Go Bills" in West Virginia.
I I mean, it's definitely. I think it's amplified now that the Bills are one of the best teams in the National Football League.
Yeah.
But there was a there. I feel like there was. I did go to a lot. A lot of the Bills games I did go to was during that drought run, and I mean, it was impressive. Like there were dedicated fans that would go. It was a party spot, no
Well,
doubt about it. Um, but could you? I mean, some of the season records that were that we that that happened during this time, you almost can't blame them. But they still showed up, and that's like, and
but
that's
that's what I'm
one of
saying.
the
Like
answers.
there's a lot more. Those were the real fans. Like those were the guys like my father who wore his Jim Kelly jersey even though it was pretty much falling off of his body at that point and sat in front of a TV every Sunday and was like, oh, I can't believe they keep on doing this, and then everything else, and but then I've heard a lot of people go, oh, I'm not gonna be, I'm not, I can't do this anymore. I'm gonna pick a new team, but that don't, but I really think it separated the hardcore fan from more of the fair weather fan sometimes. I knock a lot of the Bills fan base because I feel like a lot of it's fair weather now. Like I feel like if they just went back into this drought, you'd see a lot of people like, well, I never really liked the Bills.
Right, right.
I never did that. That's what I'm trying to get at. Is
That's fair.
this was when I got to see the hardcore thing, and my favorite thing is, and I might be killing myself on this, was one of my favorite moments of the drought was my wife got tickets to go see Larry the Cable Guy. Yeah, one of those guys. Uh, for her father and I, and her. Um, so my father-in-law and I got these tickets to go see Larry the Cable Guy, and we went out to eat before the show, and we were at a place called Honey's when it was located in, I don't know if you're not like from the Western New York area. There was one located in like North Tonawanda,
Yeah.
and like they just signed TL. Like it was breaking news. It was all over the place and looked at, and this guy from this table in front of us leaned over to me and was like, "We're going to the Super Bowl." And I'm like, "It's cool TO signed with you, but I still don't think you're going to the Super Bowl on this one." But it was kind of cool to see that, and I think that's one of my favorite drought moments. I'm not gonna lie, it was kind of cool. I like Kyle Williams, so it was cool to see Kyle Williams finally
Yeah,
getting
the
heat up.
To stuff was wild because I remember he got like a key to the city almost immediately. I'm like,
Yeah,
oh, good
it
lord.
was.
And I like the end of the drought. The end of the drought's a special like memory for me. I've told it dozens of times on podcasts, but because a lot of the audience here has probably never heard me speak of this story before.
Yeah.
I was over at my grandfather's house in 2017, New Year's Eve, and we watched the Bills just trounce the Dolphins,
Oh,
and we're
thank
like,
you.
okay, they put
Yeah.
themselves in position to
Oh,
do
yeah.
this thing, but they need some help. And now we're watching the Bengals Ravens game, and it just was not looking good. And to the point where we left because we had a bowling party to go to celebrate New Year's. And in the car, I remember the radio call vividly. We were just leaving in the car on the way home, and they're like, oh, 4th and 12. Andy Dalton I think he was in the shotgun, whatever. And he's at Tyler Boyd, first down, and then some. And he's just going and going and going. He scores a touchdown. And I remember just going, yes, yes. Like me and my dad had this peak, amazing football moment together, and it was so surreal to kind of be like experience that in like real time. Like it's cool when something happens and you know exactly where you were at when it
Yeah.
happened. And I know I was sitting in the back seat of my parents' truck on the way home from my grandparents' house and just screaming our heads off. That's how excited we were. Like it was insane. It was certainly insane. And there's a lot of other great moments, too. A lot of other significant moments over the
Oh,
years,
I
but to see it
miss.
end was incredible.
You know what I really miss about the Bills drought?
What's
One of
that?
my favorite parts was when a Buddy Nix was the GM of the Bills. Some of my favorite press conferences ever were with Buddy Nix. You talk about a good old boy from the South. It was Buddy Nix. And I just would sit there and listen to GR, and he would come on for his press conferences. The other great big thing with the Drought was when they signed Mario Williams.
Yes.
I remember that. And a lot of people were like, oh, we're going to the Super Bowl. Let's pump the brakes, don't yet, buddy. Let's pump the brakes. You like ridiculously overpaid him, but I think that was kind of helped. You knew something was going to get better at that point when somebody like Mario Williams was like, "Hey, I'm going to go to Buffalo," even though we gave him a boatload of money. Uh, but I gotta admit that was a cool thing to see somebody like that come here. Like the Bills finally land a top free agent,
Oh, for
other
sure.
than just
You know what? I
oh
I will add one more. I will add one more
okay.
thing before we get going with this
I
today.
think I could talk about. I think even though we're not Bills fans, I think you could just literally sit here and have a whole conversation about
Oh, we
Bills
could.
Trout moments and everything else.
I miss. I mean, I like listening to WGR. I do,
Oh,
but I miss the coach. Who was the
oh yeah.
coach? Who
I
was
have
it?
no idea, but I know who you're talking
Okay,
about.
you
He
remember when
was
I
a
was? It was like the early 2000s, and people
yes,
used to just call in to call this dude an asshole and hang
yeah.
up the phone.
But
He was
if I
so
remember
aggressive.
correct, I remember correctly though, wasn't he just like an angry old guy too?
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
that's who. Okay,
Our homework for you, the view. Well, we'll obviously probably figure it out before the
yeah,
end of this recording, not before it goes up. But I want to remember who the heck the coach was. I want to find out
I
who it
can't.
was. But he was tremendous. I just remember used to go to bowling listening to him, and he would just be so angry. Just old man yells at clouds, angry. But uh, but yeah,
Yeah, because he was with. Wasn't he with Bulldog
I think so.
before? Okay, his
He
name
had
was.
his own show. That's all I remember.
Oh,
I don't think he was with somebody when I was remember listening to him. But it was
here
just
he is, right here. Is this him?
I don't know.
No, wait a minute. I think I got some. Began his bro. Yeah, Chuck Dickerson. He
Who
was the Bills. Is this the one? Is this the guy that
is
I'm thinking of?
Chuck?
Oh, it is him. No wonder he was angry.
It's the
So
coach. Okay,
yeah,
what's the story of Chuck Dickerson?
he okay. This guy was featured. Yeah, he was a co. Dickerson was replaced by Shope as Bulldogs because it used to be coach of the Bulldog before it was Shope and the Bulldog.
Ah, okay.
Okay, so this is the guy. Have you ever seen the Four Falls of Buffalo?
Yes,
He is the one that mocked the fame hogs.
he's the one who did it,
Yes,
and they kept him around for radio after they fired him.
yes, that you know, yeah, that made fun of the
He did
hogs, like one of the
the
greatest
snorting.
yeah, one of the greatest offensive lines like ever assembled.
Oh,
Yeah,
well, that makes
he
sense.
mocked the fame offensive line, the Hogs, in a TV show interview. Said Joe Jacoby was a Neanderthal and he slobbers a lot and probably ticks dogs in his neighborhood.
Oh God.
And then he said another guy had bad breath. Players would fall down without him even touching them. And then I guess Joe Gibbs got the tape and was like, "Hey, check out these boys." And then
And
the
then
rest is history.
the rest is history. That was the second fall of Buffalo.
So that's Chuck. Wow, I never even knew that. So there
Well,
we go. I'm glad I
cool.
did look
This will
this
make a
up.
fun little TikTok, Instagram snippet.
Yeah,
Better
but
than better than you trying to read Demarius Thomas.
yeah,
But
Thompson,
Thompson,
Thompson.
yeah, Demetrius Thompson.
I was channeling my inner Jack there.
Yes, you were. Yes, you were.
Oh, so that's who the coach was because it was killing me because my father used to listen. Oh, my
So,
father was such a diehard Bills fan that he would watch the game, and I don't think I listened to a commentator from 1990 to when he passed because the minute he turned on the game and then GR would get turned on and it was Van Miller. Van
mm,
Miller was always the voice. And then
yes.
later on obviously John Murphy, but it was actually I think he stopped once Murphy started doing the game and then we could actually listen to the commentators on TV. So all of a sudden the minute when the game was over, we got rolled into Coach and the Bulldog.
Wow, that's a fun memory. I love talking about this stuff. I really do.
Yeah, Van Miller.
This is the nostalgia. This is why this is the nostalgia
Uh,
funhouse. Even though we're
Van.
football here on Wednesdays, there's still a bit of nostalgia here for us.
Yeah, and then I got it now that I mentioned it. Everybody in Western New York, everybody talks about good old RJ Rick Jenneret.
Yeah.
Can we get some love for Van Miller a little bit? I know RJ just passed away, but Van Miller was the voice. Like I don't think anybody could replace those guys in my mind. Jenneret and Van Miller. But that's enough of Bill's drought and looking back at Coach and the Bulldog.
Yes. And yeah, coach
Yeah.
in the bowl. I'm blown away that that was the guy.
I didn't
Um,
even know that for
but our,
years.
all right, you have won the last 3 head-to-head retro excuse me,
Yes.
retro fantasy football games. We do a little thing here called Champions Choice. So you get to pick whether you go first overall or you get the first snake. So what do you got going on here? What's your mindset?
I'm gonna go first overall.
First overall, okay.
So might be setting myself up for failure here.
And let me prelude this while you're thinking. So the
Yeah.
listeners, this is basically like we did for our very first episode. We're going to pick a specific player and a specific year for that player. And once that player year has been selected, that player cannot be selected again for the draft. So that's what we're going to do. So we're not randomizing it by single season or whatever. It's
Mm-mm.
anybody who is on the Bills drought teams between the year 2000 and 2016 because 2017 was the year it broke. That 2016 is the cutoff.
I'm gonna go with 2016 Shady McCoy.
Ooh, very good. Very good.
Oh yeah, I forgot
Yeah, the
about that part.
stats.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. I got them right here. Can I write down stuff?
That's fine. It gives me extra time to make my choices.
I looked up that coach thing, and now when I looked it up, it said 2016 Shady McCoy coach WGR. So Mr. McCoy here had 1,267 yards rushing with 13 rushing touchdowns and 50 catches for 356 yards and 1 touchdown.
Very nice.
He was on that. Wow. Oh, yeah. He was all the way there through that point. Okay.
Yeah, I think he
I
made
kind
it till Josh's rookie season in 18. Because I remember I was actually at Hershey Park in 2019 when they cut him after like preseason,
Yeah.
which is pretty crazy.
I can't. It was just so weird to see that point, though.
Oh yeah. All right, very good, my man. I love that choice. I think it's a definite deserve. It definitely belongs as the number 1 overall. All right, I'm
How
gonna
many times
answer.
do you think
What's
our
that?
good friend Brian's going to scream at us during
I think. I think he'll agree. I think he'll agree.
this?
I think he'll agree with a lot of it. There might be some where he's like, but we'll see.
Yeah,
We'll see.
I can't. Like,
I'm
he was
excited for
the
his
first.
feedback. I'm excited for his
I,
feedback.
me too. I'm not gonna lie. It's gonna be interesting to see what he has to say because he's one of the diehards
He
that
is.
stuck through. So
He really is. All right, I'm going to take my RB1 here from 2002. I'm going to take Travis Henry, 1,438 rushing yards and 13 rushing touchdowns. In the receiving category, he had 43 catches for 309 yards and 1 receiving touchdown. So 2002, Travis Henry. And then I think I'm going to, let's see. We're going to go over to receiving. And I'm going to take.
I should have waited a second. If I know who you're taking, I should have waited a second.
You probably do know who I'm going to take. I don't want to take him from the. What do I do here? I'm going to go from the same season, so this could haunt me.
Oh.
2002, Eric Moulds.
Oh,
100 receptions, 1,292 receiving yards, and 8 receiving touchdowns.
can't wait until we got to find a quarterback and all this. Oh, I got it. I got I got a name. So, my wide receiver one, I'm going with 2002 Peerless Price.
Very good.
There's a name. The man that brought in, uh, what's his name? Willis McGahee, I do believe.
Oh man, yeah, that's a throwback.
So 2002, this guy had a year and was like, I just remember after this year, they were like, this is number one receiver material. No, no. This guy was the Elvin Harper of his time here. So in 2002, he had 94 catches for 1,252 yards and 9 touchdowns. And yeah, he was Elvin Harper. If you don't know who that kid is, who that guy is, kids, and you're a wrestling fan, just think of Marty Jannetty because this is pretty much sums this up to a Peerless Prices. He is the Marty Jannetty out of him and Eric Molds. Jeez. I'm gonna finish out my wide receivers.
Your starters, yeah.
Yeah. Uh, I'm gonna go with two. Let me make sure. 2006. Lee Evans.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Not a fan of a lot of Bills players, but always liked Lee Evans. And I think what helped is he wore uh, the good old 83. I want did he? Yeah, he wore 83, right?
Yeah, that
What
sounds
number?
right. That sounds right.
Yeah, he wore Andre's number for a while, and Andre was such a great guy, so it really helped. So in 2006, uh, Lee Evans had 82 receptions for 1,292 yards and 8 touchdowns.
Okay, very good. All right, I'm gonna take a second running back here. And I'm going to take, we already mentioned him. I'm going to take 2004 Willis McGahee. All right. 1,128 rushing yards, 13 touchdowns on the ground. He also had 22 catches for 169 yards. So 2004 Willis McGahee. Let's write it down. And then I'm going to take QB1. Dum, dum,
Ooh,
dum.
I already know who you're taking.
Yeah, you should know. The very first 4,000-yard passer in Buffalo Bills history, 2002. Oh, damn, I'm taking a lot from this year. 2002, Drew Bledsoe.
Oh, I thought you were taking the other guy.
I mean, he might end up being my backup, so because I don't
Yeah.
think you're going to touch him with a
Uh,
10-foot pole.
ugh.
2002, Drew Bledsoe, 4,359 passing yards, 24 touchdowns, 15 INTs. Let's see. He used to run a little bit too. So let me see if he's got anything in the rushing
Who,
category.
Drew?
Yeah, he's a little. He's got some rushing touchdowns. Um,
Those Peyton Manning negative 24.
yeah, yeah, right. 2002, he actually has 2 rushing touchdowns. So
Okay.
with 67 yards. So that could
What do you do?
be.
Fall forward? I love
Honestly, you
Drew
might have.
Bledsoe, but when I hear rushing yards and Drew Bledsoe, it's like one of these things don't go with the other. I'm thinking Sesame Street when I hear rushing yards and Drew Bledsoe.
That's fair. That is fair. I think Mo Lewis and Rush when it comes to right. That was the guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, 2002 Drew Bledsoe. Unfortunately, that's what I think of.
Mo Lewis. Good old Mo.
Yeah, but there it
Uh,
is. Yep, my QB1 is off the board. Just because
I'm
I know it's
still
going to be some slim pickings.
I'm still a little sleepy, so when you said Mo Lewis, I was like, "Why are we talking about the Three Stooges?" But then I realized where we were going.
Whoop, 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 da, da, da,
That would be
da.
great if somebody did that, where it was the Three Stooges hurting Drew Bledsoe.
Hmm. Hmm.
I got him right there, Mo.
Good lord.
uh, um, where are we? Oh, Okay, so it's my pick.
Yes.
I'm gonna go the man that ended the drought, and then they were like, "Yeah, we don't want you anymore. We don't want to play with you anymore." From the Toy Story reference.
Yes.
2015, Tyrod Taylor.
Very good. Love me some Tyrod Taylor.
Oh, that is my son's first ever favorite football player. And then he found OBJ, and then it got better because he actually liked somebody with talent. Or I'm not making fun of Tyrod here, but
No.
not the elite of the elite. So 2015, we can add it. Uh, he had 3,035 yards passing, 20 touchdowns, 6 INTs. Some because I was just thinking, why didn't I pick his Pro Bowl year? But and then he also ran for 568 yards and 4 touchdowns.
Very good. Yeah, it's
So
probably better than 2016 because I know that they benched Tyrod at the end when they fired Rex. They benched him for like the last game or something like that.
yeah,
And
isn't that when my boy? I think that's when my boy Thad came in.
is either Thad or Cardale. One
Oh
of
my
those
god,
two.
I completely
Cardale
forgot.
Jones. But yeah, because they were talking about moving on from Tyrod, but McDermott came in and kept him, which was admirable. Um,
Oh, do I want to go this route? Uh, I'm playing with fire on this one because he didn't start every single game. Oh, 2012 to round out my starter and running backs. 2012,
okay.
CJ Spiller.
CJ Spiller. Very good.
Yeah, I remember when he was going to be something. This was a weird pick too for them. It was like this is a Buddy Nix pick. It was like, hey, we got Fred Jackson, we got Marshawn Lynch. What should we get? Oh, another running back. Uh, but he did run for 1,244 yards and 6 touchdowns. And receiving, he had 43 receptions for 459 yards. And this ad pop up. Uh, and 2 touchdowns. He did have one ad pop up. I think that's worth about 10 points. The
I,
ad pops up.
I think so. Yeah, PFR is littered with it, man. It gets
Uh,
old. It gets old. All right.
Got to make a buck somehow. So.
Gotta make yeah. Um. All right. I'm gonna take my second wide receiver here. Going to 2010. I'm gonna take the man with my last name, Stevie Johnson.
Oh,
2010, he had 82 catches for 1,073 yards and 10 touchdowns. So 2010, Stevie Johnson.
why so serious?
Why so serious? All right. And then I'm going to take a tight end. I just got to scroll very, very far down to the bottom and
Yeah.
re-find his name. Uh, Jesus. Ooh. No, wait, no. This is okay. I guess. 2012, Scott Chandler. 43 catches, 571 receiving yards, and 6 receiving touchdowns. So he's my newest player.
Scott Chandler. Yeah, we. You're a little bit more littered than what I am, where I'm more like early drought or late drought.
In between is interesting.
Yeah,
But all right, those are my two.
I think we. I think one of our more interesting conversations about this and one that they've had on GR is who is the face of the Bills during the drought?
I remember listening to that on the radio, and
Yeah,
somebody kept trying to say Brian Moorman, and they're like, "No, no, not
yeah.
listening. I'm not taking. I'm not gonna accept a punter as the face of the Bills."
And I was like, ooh, he was the most consistent player. Uh, so, oh, do I want to do? Yeah, I think I'm gonna do this one for my flex. Is a 2013 Fred Jackson.
Very good. I was hoping Freddie would get drafted.
He had to. I'm pretty sure Brian's pretty mad at us.
I think I feel like everybody who I talk to, one of their favorite Bills players of all time is Fred Jackson. Even if they're just Bills fans, one of their favorite NFL players of all time is Fred Jackson.
I love Fred Jackson. I do. I hate the Bills, but I'm like, hey, Fred Jackson was a cool. I liked watching Fred Jackson.
Yeah.
Um, he's a good feel good story too, as well. Uh, 2013 Fred Jackson had 890 yards rushing with 9 touchdowns. And where's the good old receiving numbers for 2013? He had 65, or I'm sorry, 47 receptions. I was looking at targets, 47 receptions for 387 yards and a touchdown. Oh, now I get to go tight end.
Yeah, have fun with that.
Uh, I think I found one.
Yeah.
And it's not Jay Reeves-Brimsaw, even though I was going to go that route. Uh, a hidden gem. This is a deep. I think this is a deep cut. Let me just make sure this is like they actually look at him as a tight end. Because this guy, if I remember correctly, did have some decent touchdown catches. Uh, so for this year, Pro Football Reference has him as a tight end.
If
Would
it's
it,
listed as it, I can't argue with it.
okay, so I'm gonna go with this is a deep, deep cut. 2011,
Calvin Benjamin.
David Nelson.
2011, Dave Nelson.
Dave Nelson. 61 receptions for 658 yards and 5 touchdowns.
Okay.
That's my starter.
That is a deep cut.
That
I've never heard of Dave Nelson.
I remember Dave Nelson because this is at the kind of the point where I'm still into watching college football pretty religiously, and he played for one of my favorite teams, the Florida Gators.
Okay. All right.
Plus, I just found out that he's from Wichita Falls, Texas, which is not too far away from me. So let's keep it in. Let's keep Texas alive here, boys. Let's
Okay.
keep it going.
All right. I'm gonna get my flex now. 2000. I really hate using my phone. I'm just getting blown up right now. Two.
Yeah,
It's everybody. It's everybody. But I have no choice because my computer's taking a dump on me. My other computer. 2008, Marshawn Lynch is going to be my flex.
damn it.
1,036 rushing yards, 8 rushing touchdowns. He also has 47 catches for 300 receiving yards and 1 receiving touchdown. So 2008, Marshawn Lynch. And all right, I got to start getting some depth pieces here.
Oh, this was pretty funny. I just reminded that. So, uh, latest episode of Nostalgia Funhouse. When I was talking about this, go check it out. BICBP Radio Network. Uh, as I was closing with, we were picking players from the Bills drought. Will, one of my co-hosts and a friend of all of us, just out of nowhere, real low, was like, "Good luck on that one."
Did he really?
Yeah. And I was like, "Oh yeah, I forgot you like the Bills." Uh, it,
This sucks.
yeah, it's you. It's still you.
I know.
It's
I'm
getting,
looking for a flex, and this sucks. Or no, not even a flex, a backup. Oh, good
yeah,
God.
we're on the backups.
This, I mean, it's bad. It's bad. All right, RB3, 2016, Mike Gillisley, 577 rushing yards, 8 rushing touchdowns. He also had 9 catches for 50 yards and a receiving touchdown. So,
Not bad.
2016,
Isn't that?
Mike
I thought he
Gillisley.
was later because I remember
He
when the
was he was
Patriots.
there. No, sorry, he used 2015 and 16,
Okay,
Pats in 17, Saints in
that's
18,
right.
but he started off with the Dolphins in 13.
I remember him going to the Patriots and a lot of people being mad, and then the Patriots did absolutely nothing with him. Him and good old Chris Hogan.
Oh yeah,
Chris
Gilmore.
Hogan.
Oh, Gilmore did some stuff and things. Gilmore got a lot of backlash,
Yeah.
but
Uh,
then he became a stud. He became one of the best shut down,
yep.
defensive backs of all time with the Patriots.
Let's go with wide receiver three. 2015. Sammy Watkins.
Oh God, what a just a colossal disappointment of a player. But he was good in 2015. But I remember just taking him all the time, and he was just always hurt.
Yeah, he only played 13 games, so good thing he's kind of just in that backup role.
Yeah.
60 catches for 1,047 yards and 9 touchdowns.
Mm.
Not too much in the running category. He did have one attempt for 1 yard. He beat out Peyton Manning.
Good for him.
And I don't know how we missed this guy and how we. Oh, wait. Damn it. I can't take him.
Why?
99.
Oh yeah, they had us cut off.
Oh, jeez. I'm trying to avoid you know who. Uh,
Just take
no,
him. Just stop.
no,
Stop being that guy. And just take him.
no. I have fantasy rules, okay? And this,
And
first
you
of all,
break them. You break them.
this
I'm not
draft is.
taking Jerry Rice ever again. Takes him.
I
I'm
no,
not
well,
taking guys from the same team ever again.
Jerry
Takes him.
Jerry Rice is that abusive ex girlfriend that keeps on where I'm like, she's like, I've changed, and I'm like, yeah, you know what, baby, I think you have, and then all of a sudden, next thing you know, I'm barefoot outside talking to the cops and how she tried to kill me with a iron because I wasn't home for dinner on time or
This is a
something
very
crazy.
detailed story, and I feel like you're
It's never had.
this is a this is a
I get
reckless.
very detailed with my stories.
It felt
My
like
kids
I could see, I could picture you just out there.
my kids love it when I they they uh they love it when I'm out in public and I'm like waiting in a car or something and I see people walk by because I make stories for them. And I always said if I actually could spell and write with grammar, I would probably be one of the greatest writers ever.
I I,
Uh,
I believe that.
but here's one of the greatest fullbacks ever.
Oh,
Oh, good little deep cut into a fullback. That was a great receiving back. 2001, Larry Centers.
oh yeah, I remember
Not a
Larry.
whole lot of rushing yards here. Only 620 for 2 touchdowns. But if you, oh, that was his receiving. Was 80 receptions for 620 yards and 2 touchdowns. Sorry about that. I read
Okay,
that backwards. Thought they would have the rushing yards first for running backs. His attempts were very low. 34 attempts for 160 yards and 2 touchdowns. But that 80 receptions for 620 and 2 touchdowns
yeah. If
for an
you need a
RB
call on
three.
him, that could be nice. That could be really nice.
For an RB3, I think he's one of the first running backs to actually have 100 receptions in a season.
Oh,
If
no
I'm not
kidding.
Yeah, he was
Okay,
he was pretty good there, Mr. Larry Centers. Yeah, 95, 101 receptions.
okay, very good.
Uh, and that rounds out mine, right? Yeah. Or
Yes,
do I
yeah.
get
Because
one
I
more?
got two, then you got two, and then I have one.
Yeah.
So,
I'm still dancing around my
uh,
QB area there.
all right, I'm gonna take tight end two, 2016 Charles Clay, 57 catches, 552 receiving yards, and 4 receiving touchdowns.
and
So
two bad knees.
yeah, they still hate him for dropping that pass, that touchdown pass.
Oh, so, yeah.
Oh
Dolphins, Charles Clay. I
yeah.
was like, damn it, the Bills got him, and then he dropped that pass, and I was like, good, you guys can have him. Uh,
And then I gotta find one more here. I gotta find a wide receiver
yeah,
3.
I think you summed it up right there. Have to find one more.
Yeah.
Did you ever see Jurassic Park at this point? This reminds me of Jurassic Park.
Life will find a way.
No, no, no.
No, not even
They
that.
go see the when they go see the
This
Triceratops.
is one big pile of shit. Yes. Yes.
That's how I feel about us doing this drafting right now.
Okay. You know what? I don't hate this one. I'm actually glad that I found it. 2014 Robert Woods,
Damn it.
65 catches,
Oh, there's one.
699 receiving yards, and 5 receiving touchdowns. So 2014 Robert Woods.
Such an underrated wide receiver.
He's very good, and he blew up after he left. Like when he went to the Rams, he legit became a stud. Like those receiving groups I mean, Cooper Kupp and Robert Woods together, they were
They were.
awesome. Awesome.
Where it was. Damn it. Where is he? I just had him. Charles Clay. And all of his bad knees. Let's go. Because I just mentioned him. This guy was a pretty good tight end. 2001. Jay Reesmer.
Yeah,
Reemersma?
I was looking at him too.
I'm going with 2001 J.
I can't even correct you if I like on pronunciation. I don't even know. I literally have no idea.
I think it's Reesmer. I can't even.
You think it's that? You think that's the one you're gonna go with?
You know what? I gotta like copy and paste this in here. Because once again, I can't spell. Hey, there he is. He just looks like a cool guy too. I always liked him. 2001 J. I'm just gonna be on a first name basis with him.
Jr.
By God, no. Yeah, 2001 good old JR had 53 receptions for 590 yards and 3 touchdowns. Not exactly setting the tight end world. What are you playing, the 70s? Um, Actually, those are like Pro Bowl numbers for the 70s. Oh, I need, just because this is how much I can't stand this guy. 2006 JP Lossman. I'm going to go
What?
with, can't do it. I can't do it. You guys have gotten me to the point where I see that man like I don't even want to say his name. I'm going to go with 2006 JP Lossman. He did throw for 3,051 yards, 19 touchdowns with 14 INTs. So
That's
it is
actually
the
pretty good.
70s.
That's a pretty good year.
Um, and then he did run for 140 yards and a touchdown.
Hmm.
I can't pick him. I that's my hatred towards him.
I yeah. I'm looking at some other guys too, and like it's so tough because the Bills' quarterback situation was so
Horrible.
rough during that time that guys didn't even play full seasons. Like
No.
that's one of the things I got to look at. But all right, let's close up this draft. I'm gonna take 2012 Ryan Fitzpatrick because that was his 12. Ryan, that was his last year in Buffalo. I think he was in
He's a
Houston.
great quarterback.
He is. 2000. No, yeah, he was in Tennessee the following year.
You're the only 10 I see.
Hey,
I had to do it. I don't know.
hey, why? Okay,
Nobody can follow Ryan Fitzpatrick's career.
All right,
You ever?
2012, 3,400 passing yards, 24 touchdowns, 16 INTs. He also had 197 rushing yards for one rushing touchdown. So there it is, my QB2 and the completion of this draft. What were you about to say?
That it would like I think to follow him and Josh Johnson's career to like recite every team in order that they've been on. It's like one of those and I'm not saying this to be mean. It's just one of those things where it's hard to figure out. Like you ever watch like a video like on YouTube or something where it's like the autistic kid and he's like, hey, and like the guy's like naming a date and he can tell you the starting pitchers for that
Yeah,
day.
yeah,
That's how I feel about Ryan Fitzpatrick's career.
that's
That
fair.
you need somebody like that to like go through every single team and can get it in order.
That's true. Yeah, a lot of jerseys, man. Got a lot of jerseys. Uh, all right. Let us do what we do and reread our team before we get going and spinning the wheel.
All right.
You
So
first, yeah.
my QB1 is good old Terod Taylor. Uh, Starting running back, so RB1 and RB2 are, oh, I'm sorry, 2015 Terod Taylor. RB1 and RB2 are 2016 Shady McCoy and 2012 CJ Spiller. Wide receiver 1 is 2002 Peerless Price. Never thought I'd say that. Wide receiver, my wide receiver 2 is 2006 Lee Evans. Tight end 2011 David Nelson. My flex is 2013 Fred Jackson. Uh, Reserve quarterback or QB2 is 2006 JP Lossman. RB3 is 2001 Larry Centers. Wide receiver 3 is 2015 Sammy Watkins. And tight end 2 is 2001 JR. I'm not even going to attempt
Yeah,
it.
don't even do it. Uh,
It's
all right, very good. So my entire team's going to run right through it now. 2002, Drew Bledsoe. My QB2, 2012, Ryan Fitzpatrick. My running backs, RB1, 2002, Travis Henry. RB2, 2004, Willis McGahee. RB3 is 2016, Mike Gillisley. Wide receiver 1 is 2002, Eric Molds. Wide receiver 2 is 2010, Stevie Johnson. Wide receiver 3 is 2014, Robert Woods. Tight end 1 is 2012 Scott Chandler. Tight end 2, 2016 Charles Clay. And my flex is 2008 Marshawn Lynch. All right, we are going to spin the wheel and see what week we are going to be taking scores from. All right, here we go.
Yeah, when I'm trying to say good old JR's name there, it reminds me of Finding Nemo when the teacher's like, "Where do you live?" and Nemo's like, "In the net, net, in the net, in the net," and he's like, "Don't hurt yourself, kid."
Week 11. That is
Week
what we have
11.
right in the middle of bye week season. So week 11 is what we got going on. We're going
Don't
to
say that. You said that the first episode, and it just completely destroyed me.
It did. It did. All right, we're going to take a quick pause on our end, tally up some scores, and we'll be right back in just a moment. All right, the scores have been tallied. We are back. We are going through our Bills drought team. This is the head-to-head. Of course, we selected Week 11. Uh, let's get to it, my man. How you feeling? How you feeling first and foremost?
Uh, my score is looking somewhere in the 1970s, but I think that's pretty good considering we are dealing with the Bills drought. I think I don't think my gambles paid off all that well, but it's the Bills drought. So let's see if it ends your drought.
I'm feeling really good right now.
Uh,
I feel like this team that I have compiled here would have made a playoff. I think it would have broken a drought. I'm
I
feeling I'm feeling really good.
I think this is maybe a 7-9 team that I got going on.
Oh, I got 11-5 all day. All right,
Maybe 7-9.
let's get to it. You are the defending champion. Why don't we start off with your quarterback scores? Do both, of course, and we'll go through each position.
Okay, so my QB1 is 2015 Terod Taylor. He threw for 233 yards.
Ooh,
He did run for one, but he was also sacked twice and fumbled once
Oh, Jesus.
for a total of 13 points.
13?
Yep.
Okay. And
And
what did
then
good old John Paul or James Paul or whatever the heck his name is? Who cares?
he had a day. He had
Did he
39
really?
points. He had 39 points. And that was a pick where I was like, I'm just picking this guy because I don't want to. I should have picked him as my starter.
You know what? That's what you get. That is what.
Yeah,
That is insane to think that J.P. Lossman had a day like that, especially '06. Like that was kind of the winding down. Well, no, it was only his second year. Second year's a starter, but um,
yeah,
all right. Wow, that's good in my favor. But if we tie, that's good in your favor.
yes.
All right, 2002, Drew Bledsoe had something of a game. 225 passing yards, 15 points, one passing touchdown, that's 6 points, one INT for -2. He also took 2 sacks for -2. And I told you he was a rusher. He ran for 7 yards.
Jeez.
17.7 points
That's,
for Drew Bledsoe in week 11 of '02.
that's like a guy running for like 200 yards normally as a normal running back.
For Ryan Fitzpatrick,
How many?
9.5.
Yeah, there you go.
So,
Keep on proving me right there, Ryan.
all right, buddy. Let's go through your running backs.
I just got to say my line. The most consistent thing about Ryan Fitzpatrick is that he's inconsistent.
That's a short. That's a TikTok, right there. So,
I'm pretty sure there's going to be a lot of people, but he threw 5 touchdowns in a game. Um, so my RV1, I had 2016 Shady McCoy, and now he is throwing shade on FS1. Uh, he he had 33 yards rushing, 4 touchdown, and then he also had 2 receptions for 12 yards, giving me 12.5 points.
25.5,
12.5.
12.5. You should have just went with the 25.
Yeah, I can't do it. If
Very good.
if it was anybody else,
No, my phone's been a big distraction lately, and it's annoying. It's annoying. This is partially why I like recording at like 10 o'clock at night too, just
now
because I need the
oh,
phone. I need to use the phone to do math because I'm just Niagara Falls High
Niagara
School
Falls,
education,
yeah,
but we should get shirts that say
I
that.
know.
But yeah, it's just there's just everybody just all right. Leave me alone. All right, carry on. I apologize.
All right, 2012 CJ Spiller, no go. Uh,
No,
did
bye.
not play. Yeah, did not play.
Did not
I
play.
did not have anybody on a bye. Just did not play. I can't find him. And then so I got to go with 2001 Larry Centers,
Oh boy.
who had 5 catches for 31 yards, giving me 8.1 points.
Oh yeah, I'm winning this thing. Okay. Uh,
I love it how
that's tough with CJ.
I love it how you proclaimed victory already.
Dude, I'm feeling really good. I got some heavy hitters coming up. All right. Running back 1, Travis Henry, 126 rushing yards for
Oh,
12.6
jeez.
points, 4 receptions and 38 receiving yards. 4 for the receptions, 3.8 for the receiving yards, 20.4 points for him. Now we're going to my RB2, 2004, Willis McGahee. Willis McGahee had 100 rushing yards, along with 3 catches and 27 receiving yards. 15.7 points for Willis McGahee. Mike Gillisley, my RB3, although his points will not count, 7.2.
Jeez.
So,
Not looking too good for me right now.
hey.
Oh, jeez.
I think I'm
I
going to
got
play,
asked.
if whoever wins this one, I think when I put the trophy gif for
Oh,
Griffin,
please don't
I
do it.
think I'm going to do that.
That was the other thing my father would do sometimes too when they were like in the 90s when they were actually like winning. Every time he'd score, he'd hit like the little tape deck and be like, "Dun, dun, dun." And I'm not making it. I know that sounds like the Carlos Mencia noise, but if anybody knows, If you're from West New York and I just in public went, dun, 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 I'm pretty sure somebody would be like, the Bills make me want to shout. Just out of nowhere, there would be that guy. Um, all right. So I had 2002 Peerless Price. This guy was wide receiver one all the way to that game. He had 4 catches for 40 yards, giving me 8 points. They got a first round pick for this guy.
They sure did. Where did he go after that?
The Falcons.
Oh boy.
The Falcons, and then I think he went to the Cowboys, and he went back to the Bills. Maybe I think either before or after the Cowboys.
All right. Lee Evans now. Lee Evans and
Oh
Salem.
yeah, Mr. Lee Evans, 2006 Lee Evans. Let me tell you about this guy. This guy did amazing. 11 catches, 265 yards, and 2 touchdowns,
Ooh.
giving me 49.5 points.
Jesus. Okay, now I'm
John
starting to get
Paul
nervous. I'm sorry.
John Paul knew nobody else this game but Lee Evans.
That makes sense. Okay.
Uh, and then 2015 Sammy Watkins had 6.9 points.
6.9. That Lee Evans one is
That's
got
a
me.
spicy meatball. Just say it.
That's something. That's really good, man. That's really good.
Yeah.
I'm definitely taken aback a little bit by that. Okay, wide receiver one. 2002 Eric Molds, 4 catches for 4 points, 36 receiving yards for 3.6. He also had a receiving touchdown, 13.6 points.
Not bad.
Not bad. But this is my heaviest hitter.
Okay.
2010 Stevie Johnson, 8 catches for 8 points, 137 receiving yards for 13.7, and 3 receiving touchdowns for 18, giving me 39.7 points for good old Stevie. And then my wide receiver 3, Robert Woods, 3.5 points.
Why couldn't you have started Robert Woods? So now we are on to tight ends.
Oh,
And
Daddy,
my
this is
big
rough.
master plan was 2011 David Nelson.
Yes, it was.
Had some touchdowns there.
Did he really?
During the season.
Oh, okay. Not this
Let me
game.
go
Not
during
this
the
game
season.
specifically.
This game is not what you would say career making for this fellow. Okay? This is not on his highlight reel. Okay. Are you ready?
Let's do it.
I think this is the new low for anything other than possibly going negative to 0. He had, ready for this stat line? 1 reception.
That's it.
1 point.
No. He didn't get any yards with reception.
No. 1 reception.
Wow, I thought I was bad, but this just made me feel a whole lot better. I'm definitely winning this game.
1 reception.
All right, what did Jay Remersa get?
He actually had 4.3 points. I think anything is better than 1 point. Like for somebody that actually plays.
I was feeling really low, but you just made me feel great. All right,
Yeah.
my tight end one, 2012 Scott Chandler, 2 catches, 30 receiving yards, and a fumble for 3 points. Swear to God. And my tight end 2, Charles Clay, had 7.3. So there's that.
Jeez.
All right, on to the main event, our flex.
Okay. So I had 2013 Fred Jackson. He ran for 34 yards and had 2 receptions for 5 yards, giving me 10.4 points.
All right, here we go.
Still better than 1 reception.
That's true. Anything's better. That is the worst score we've ever had on this show.
That is a stat line.
That is a stat. That should go on the Hall of Fame, the Retro Fantasy Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
All right, my final guy, 2008 Marshawn Lynch. Oh boy, yeah, this is the nail in the coffin. A 119 rushing yards for 11.9 points, 10 receptions for 10 points, 58 receiving yards for
Jeez.
5.8, and 1 receiving touchdown for 33.7. My total 143.8 points.
102.5.
Woo!
Let's the guy.
Hey, hey, let's go Buffalo. I'm so happy right now. I have broken a very long losing streak.
Oh, you broken the drought
I've
with
broken
the
my
Bill.
own drought.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. With the
Yes.
Bills drought.
That's why
There.
I have a soft spot for this team and forever will.
Oh
Uh
my goodness.
all
I
right.
can't.
I did it. I'm happy. And that means I get to choose next week's decade. So we're going to a decade where the music was top notch. Okay? We're going to a decade where video games were really starting to come out of their shell and be this massive this massive powerhouse in entertainment. We're going to a decade where cocaine was in its purest form. Okay, we're going to the 1980s. That is going to be the next decade that we operate out of.
It's purest form. That's what we went with. The '80s. Cocaine was pure. Don't go for any other pop culture reference like malls were the thing and still available and
That's true.
everything
I could
else
have did
and
that. Cartoons were good.
arcades,
Cereal. No, cocaine.
cereal,
You know what
Saturday
though?
morning
NFL,
cartoons.
the NFL
No,
in the '80s and cocaine just feels like it goes hand in hand. So that's what
yeah,
I wanted to. That's what I wanted to bridge it with.
I could see it. I could see that.
But
I get you.
Andrew, this was a lot of fun, buddy. Thank you
Oh,
for going along with this one. Unlocked a lot of great memories, and we got to reference a lot of players that I maybe we wouldn't even touch in any other draft too. I think that's the nice thing about doing team specific ones.
and we got to see a stellar stat line.
We sure did. We sure did. All right, let's take the time to
Did,
plug our. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
oh, that reminded me of. Do you ever play? The what is it? Two catches for a first down, like when you're playing like football.
Yes, yeah.
Okay. So there was always that one cheap thing where you needed a catch and it was fourth down and it was the guy that would just step off the line and turn around.
Yes.
That's that one catch. That's exactly what that reminds me of. He got off the line, he turned, but not enough to where he got a yard, but just off the line turned. There you go. There's your catch.
Yeah,
That's that's the David Nelson stat line.
that
He just
is.
needed that second catch for a
I
first
like how
down.
you went all in on that, and that was he just let you
Yeah,
down.
I was really I put a lot of eggs in that basket.
You sure did.
Didn't
Uh,
work.
all
Yeah.
right, let's plug our stuff as we're about to close up shop here. I guess I'll start off because
Yeah.
mine's kind of off brand, but Eat Sleep List, that is my pride and joy, my baby. New episodes 2 days a week. Mondays for Mirrorless Monday, where I use myself as a punching bag and get really reflective and try to work through some stuff and teach life lessons. And then there's Fun List Friday, which is basically just picking a random pop culture, random very fun thing, talking about it, and making a list. This upcoming Friday, I am doing the comic book covers list, which I'm really excited to get into. And this past Monday's Mirrorless Monday was the high school music playlist. So working on some stuff
Ooh,
there. And
some
yeah,
vitamin C in there.
yeah, no,
I did. Did they play that for you? I feel like that was like the staple for
I don't think they did.
the vitamin C. Isn't it vitamin C? The graduation song.
I think you're right. Yeah, no, it didn't quite
Love
make it.
is
That
go
was a
on.
walkout song for Class Day, but it did not make my top 10. That's for sure. Spoiler alert. All right, and Andrew does the Nostalgia Funhouse.
Yes. Oh, I'm sorry. I was reading something. I'm so sorry. Somebody was telling me. So this is a plug. Somebody was actually trying to tell me how to play one of my Let's Plays because I just kind of play Let's Plays. I started that back up thanks to Matt and his inspiration to do that. I do Let's Plays, and this isn't anything long playthrough, a tutorial, a guide. This is just me being bored and saying, let's just record myself playing a game. And this nice guy told me how to actually play this game, so I might have to give it a try. Again, so check that out. That is also on the Nostalgia Funhouse YouTube channel, and check out the Nostalgia Funhouse podcast on the PICPP Radio Network or wherever you get your podcasts. And this month we are doing favorite WrestleMania matches, and then for our movie review is nothing wrestling related. We are doing Star Trek II,
Ooh,
The Wrath. I've come.
Hey, when does your WrestleMania selection episode drop? Side tangent.
It should be whenever I edit it, so
Okay,
probably
so it is
Sunday.
recorded. I just wanted to make sure because I listened to the other
Yeah,
two and they
no,
were
it,
good.
it is recorded. It
Okay,
is recorded.
all right,
It is recorded. I get very kind of emotional and touching in the beginning, just
good.
to 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 lay. I laid it out on the line because I picked a match that most people are like, ugh. Most wrestling fans are like, ugh, those guys are horrible people and everything else. But I lay it out there on why I really why it's my favorite WrestleMania match ever.
I'm excited to listen to it. So,
Oh, yep. And with that being said, what may not be nostalgia for you may be nostalgia for some.